In the depths of Crown Point Jail, on a cold March morning in 1934, John Dillinger sat in his cell, armed with nothing but his wit and a piece of wood. What happened next would become one of history's most audacious prison breaks, but the real story isn't what most people think they know. The wooden gun wasn't just carved from any random piece of wood. It was actually crafted from a wooden washboard, carefully whittled down during quiet moments when guards weren't watching. Dillinger spent weeks meticulously shaping every detail, from the barrel to the trigger guard, using a small razor blade he'd managed to keep hidden. But here's what the history books don't tell you. Dillinger didn't work alone. Herbert Youngblood, a fellow inmate, served as his lookout while he carved the weapon. The collaboration between these two criminals would end in tragedy, with Youngblood being gunned down by police just weeks after the escape. The gun itself was a masterpiece of deception. Dillinger didn't just carve it. He used black shoe polish and brown axle grease stolen from the prison workshop to give it an authentic metallic sheen. He even carved realistic-looking bullets that he stored in his pocket, just in case any guard got suspicious and demanded to see them. On the morning of the escape, something happened that most accounts leave out. Before using the wooden gun, Dillinger tested the guard's reaction to it by, accidentally, letting one catch a glimpse. When the guard showed genuine fear, Dillinger knew his plan would work. The actual escape was more violent than most records indicate. While holding his wooden gun, Dillinger didn't just calmly walk out. He forced 17 people into a cell, including wardens, guards, and trustees. He even took the time to steal their badges and cash, knowing he'd need resources on the outside. What's particularly dark about this incident is that 2 of the guards he locked up that day would later commit suicide, unable to live with the shame of being fooled by a wooden gun. Their names were deliberately left out of official reports to protect their families. The sheriff's car that Dillinger stole wasn't randomly chosen either. He specifically took Sheriff Lillian Holly's new V8 Ford because she had boasted to newspapers that no one could escape her jail. The car was later found abandoned in Chicago, with a mocking note left on the seat. "Thanks for the car, lab's good, but the steering's a bit off." The aftermath of this escape triggered something few people know about, a secret directive from J. Edgar Hoover that fundamentally changed American law enforcement. The FBI was authorized to shoot on sight any suspect carrying what appeared to be a weapon, regardless of whether they were sure it was real. This policy would later result in several controversial deaths. Perhaps the most ironic detail of all, the wooden gun that caused all this chaos was never found. Some historians believe Dillinger burned it shortly after his escape, while others suggest he gave it to a child as a toy, knowing no one would believe the kid if they tried to tell the truth about where they got it. 4 months after this escape, Dillinger met his end outside the Biograph Theater in Chicago. But even in death, he kept one final secret. The wooden gun technique wasn't his original idea. He'd learned it from another inmate years before, someone whose name he took to his grave. This wasn't just a prison break, it was a psychological masterpiece that exposed the fragility of authority and the power of human ingenuity. The wooden gun incident changed prison security protocols across America, leading to the implementation of mandatory metal detectors and stricter contraband checks. Today, in the old Crown Point Jail, now a museum, there's a small display case with a replica of Dillinger's wooden gun.